everybody? Okay, let's all huddle into a small circle over here. Take a deep breath in, and then take a deep sigh of relief out. The Vancouver Canucks are back in a playoff spot. Heck yes, boys, the Vancouver Canucks have just defeated the New York Islanders in a 5-4 shootout victory in a game where Brock Boeser did indeed return. Now, the drama surrounding the Boeser return was at an all-time high a few weeks ago when the team announced that Boeser and Levo both would be out until the end of the regular season. So, what does Brock Boeser do after hearing that? Well, he comes back after about a month. So, this drama just finally came to an end when Brock Boeser was revealed to be in the lineup. If you didn't see the video I made earlier today, it was a very short 30-second little song parody of Eminem's Without Me, where instead of saying "Guess who's back," I said "Boeser's back." And I posted it onto YouTube, got a pretty good amount of reception from that, but the majority of the reception actually came from Twitter. The video is at like 150 likes, and however many retweets it's at, almost at like 10,000 views too on Twitter, which is really cool because I've never been popular on Twitter before. If you're not following me on Twitter, you can do that at LR99Gaming. But I was excited for this game because Brock Boeser was returning. They took out Louis Eriksson from the lineup, finally, I guess, and they went with a pretty nice solid lineup of Miller, Petey, Toffoli, Pearson, Horvat, Boeser, Roussel, Gaudette, and then I believe it was McEwen on that line, and then you had Mott, Virtanen, and Sutter. So this team got together and formed itself what looked to be a very legitimate and very dangerous top six. And we saw that here tonight against the Islanders, a team that was on a losing streak themselves. I think they had been losing like 6 in a row or something like that. I'm not too sure the exact number. But Canucks fans that I saw were really anxious about this game because the Islanders were a cold team. They hadn't been winning games, and they were in a position to just be very, very hungry for the win. But the perspective to combat that is, yeah, the Canucks kind of needed to be that same way too. Because the Canucks had been slumping for the first time in like 2 months. The Canucks went to bed and they weren't in a playoff spot. I think that was a crazy fancy stat that was tweeted out somewhere. I'm not really too sure. But it was a battle of two desperate teams here tonight, and the Vancouver Canucks ultimately take this one. Let's go over it goal by goal. Andrew Ladd gets a deflection to kick off the scoring a minute 36 in. Yeah, doesn't feel great. But give it 20 seconds and Adam Gaudette gets a nice deflection of his own. After Alex Edler throws one to the goal, Gaudette with the tip in. That is Edler's 400th career point. So mega props, gotta give my salutations and congratulations to Alexander Edler. Literally speaking, the best defenseman the Vancouver Canucks has ever had, just statistically. But Troy Stecher gets an assist on that one as well, so the Canucks immediately tie it up 1-1. And then before I can even finish the sentence, Tyler Toffoli comes in off of a really, really nice play. Hughes sends it up to Petey. Petey comes in, and he centers one. Beautiful sauce. Absolute saucer pass to Toffoli on the right side, who takes it, he wrists it, it's in the net, and the Canucks have the lead. Pettersson has 39 assists, Quinn Hughes has 45 assists, and that is Tyler Toffoli's 24th goal on the game. The first period was honestly just a fly-by. All these scoring opportunities and shots and chances and heavy possession times. This was a fun game to watch right off the bat. The Islanders had 18 shots and the Canucks had 14, so it was a high octane offensive affair in that first 20 minutes. The second period comes, though, and then eventually it was tied 2-2 because Jordan Eberle did tie it up at the end of the first. I forgot to mention that. But McEwen gets things started right away to start off the second. Alex Edler, with his second assist of the night, throws it to the goal, and McEwen tips it in. McEwen has 5 goals this year, and the guy has looked so comfortable on that third line, so much like a legitimate established NHLer, that I think it's safe to say that McEwen belongs in the NHL now. He's no longer a tweener, he's no longer a Utica Comet guy. I think McEwen is a Vancouver Canucks guy, and he showed today that he belongs on that spot. But towards the end of the second period, it's Brock Nelson who gets a backhander on net. Yikes. This one was kind of whack, because it's Brock Nelson who kind of touches it down, and it goes by Fantenberg. Fantenberg kind of loses track of the puck, it's behind him, and then once he turns around and he sees the puck coming on the rush the other way, Brock Nelson picks it up and he goes to the net and he scores. So that one was somewhat of a defensive lapse from Oscar Fantenberg in my mind, because the guy just didn't see the opportunity there to take the puck away. But the Vancouver Canucks eventually do get a goal themselves, because Bo Horvat, off of a really nice power play, it goes over Hughes, down low, Miller to the goal line, to Foley, back in front for Horvat, he shoots it and he scores it. 22 goals on the year. JT Miller has 45 assists. So the second period ended off really well. It was 4-3 Vancouver, and things looked glorious. But the third period came, and the Vancouver Canucks kind of just didn't really do that great. Because the third period came, and this is when the New York Islanders just started piling it on over and over and over again. That high-octane game that we described the first period as, it carried over into the second, but it kind of stopped over in the third, because only one team was able to keep up that high-octane pressure, and it wasn't the Vancouver Canucks. The Canucks came up with the puck a few times in that third period, but they were quickly thwarted by the opposition, turned around, and went back the other way. Thatcher Demko had to be absolutely great in this third period. He had himself 16 shots against to the Vancouver Canucks 5 in that final 20 minutes of regulation, and Demko in this game was just absolutely phenomenal. It's kind of crazy to take a look at it and say, yeah, the guy let in 4 goals, but he was still phenomenal. I think if you were to sum up the Vancouver Canucks' defensive pressure and defensive responsibility, you could just sum it up like that. Thatcher Demko played in a game where he let in 4 goals, and he was still the best Canuck out there on the ice. So many cross creases, so many opportunities on the rush, so many irresponsible giveaways from the Canucks. And Thatcher Demko was out there bailing the team out again and again and again. Eventually overtime comes, and the same thing goes on, because Demko is forced to just completely stand on his head once more. The majority of this overtime was New York controlled, and it was just them taking it out of the zone and coming back into the zone, and then they're going to retreat, they take a shot, they win the face-off again, and then they do the same thing over and over. It was kind of frustrating, but you could definitely see the conservatism from the Islanders in that overtime, just wanting to pull off the perfect pass and get off that perfect shot. When they tried to force it, Demko was there to stop it, and the Vancouver Canucks only really had one opportunity in overtime to get this one done. It was Bo Horvat sending a nice little sauce to Quinn Hughes, but he got saved by Varlamov. So this one comes to an end, and I think I'm not doing a good job at articulating just how crazy this game was, because if you watched it, you could feel the tension arising just from the building, just from the fans. The fact that Boeser was returning and the fact that Demko was standing on his head. Also compiled with the playoff race, this game was intense, and once the shootout started, we had ourselves the same kind of story. First off, it's Elias Pettersson, he misses the net. Then it's Jordan Eberle, and he gets saved by Demko. That one was almost squeaking in through the 5-hole. Then for Vancouver, JT Miller comes in. He cuts in very, very wide onto the left side, but then it opens up some space on the glove side for Varlamov. He shoots it and he scores it, and then Thatcher Demko seals the deal against Barzal, getting the blocker hand up there on the backhand. And at this point, I'm kind of like, okay, we need one more goal to win the game, one more goal to put the Canucks back in the playoffs, overtake the Minnesota Wild, and tie themselves up with the Jets and the Predators, but via tiebreaker remain in the wildcard spot. And Brock Boeser goes out there. You could feel the tension. Everybody was cheering. Everybody was on their feet. And Brock Boeser looked serious as heck. But then he comes in, he tries to do his shootout, and the play is blown dead. Why? Because some fan threw a puck into the zone while Boeser was out there trying to do his shootout attempt. What the heck was that? Okay, they had to reset it, which, okay, they did that, but it kind of killed the mood, killed the tension, and they actually had the PA announcer tell everybody you're not allowed to throw stuff onto the ice, which I think is common knowledge, but like, seriously, that one fan got his 5 seconds of fame, maybe 30, 40 seconds, because I'm now talking about it here for that amount of time, but Boeser eventually comes in, he gets saved by Varlamov, and then the New York Islanders try one more time to do it, and they don't get it done. So the Vancouver Canucks eventually win this one. It is Thatcher Demko who makes himself 45 saves on 49 shots, and that's a career high in saves in a game. He had 44 a few games ago, but now he gets 45. The Vancouver Canucks are back in the playoff spot. Ah, yes. It feels great to say that I was the guy who just went from, yeah, you know, they won against the Avalanche, to, hey, what if they got Lafreniere, to, hey, Brock Boeser's back, let's rap about it, and then, hey, they're back in the playoffs, woohoo. I think you can just sense how bipolar it is being a Vancouver Canucks fan, and I'm sure you're definitely on this journey with me, so I hope you enjoyed this video, especially that Troll 99, and bye.